All right, so we're recording now. Hi, Jake. It's good to see
Hi,
you.
Roxanne. Good to see you too.
I've got Jacob Dent here today with Fitness Machine Technicians, and he is going to tell us a little bit about his story in becoming a franchisee. So, to start out with, Jake, what was your background?
Um, Military, about 12 years active duty Marines, some reserve time, and then industrial sales also after I left active duty.
Okay, and what made you decide to? Now, you kept working, so you're still in industrial sales. What made you decide you wanted to look at owning a business?
Um, it's probably kind of the same story that a lot of people have where they wanted to have more, more control over their own lives, get out of corporate America, and not have to answer to, a boss every day, I guess. That's kind of what started it. I've always been kind of independent minded, and it seemed like owning my own business was really the way to go.
We always tell people that, especially when we're talking to somebody that served our country, that background pairs well with business ownership because of the skills that you learn. Leadership, communication. It's all about executing and getting a job done. So, do you think there's any parallels to your life in the military and being part of a franchise?
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons, I think. The pros are that I'm used to um, I'm used to having people under me, used to being in command, so to speak, of others and having a mission to accomplish. So in those ways, I think it transfers over pretty well. But in some other ways, it doesn't. In some other ways, there's some very probably basic stuff that other people know that have been in the civilian world for 20 years or whatever that I had to learn fresh, at a little bit of an older age because I had never done it before because my experience was pretty much 100% military, whether it's talking about things like how to do my sales taxes that I owe the state here in California, stuff like that. It's kind of a pain. Some of that kind of paperwork stuff that just I had no idea how to do. So some pros and cons.
Yeah, and so we talk about hiring some or making sure you have some good professionals like a CPA, a bookkeeper. And I think part of that is too, when you're in sales, like you are, salespeople tend to be really bad at things like paperwork and keeping books.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
knowing your weaknesses and
yeah. That's totally true.
sending that out.
I hate doing that stuff, honestly. So yeah, even in my civilian job, my regular job, um, doing my forecast. I don't like doing my forecast. It doesn't make me any money. It's something that my boss requires because his boss requires it. I don't want to do it. I want to make new customers. I want to make sales. I want to get money coming in. I don't want to do paperwork. So on that topic, yes, I have an accountant and I have a bookkeeper, and they're worth every penny.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm the same way. So what do you think if you had to share one or two main lessons learned, what would those be for you in starting a business?
For me, I underestimated kind of how difficult it was going to be to work and start the business at the same time. Um, I'm always very, I don't know, kind of optimistic, and I see a challenge. I'm like, yeah, I can do that, and I can, but I underestimated how difficult that was going to be. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um, so yeah, kind of the lesson there I think would have been to have a better plan on how to deal with working full time and starting the business. Not sure what that would have looked like. Maybe having more employees right off the bat, so that less, would have been required of me.
That's okay. It happens here too.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that was difficult. And then my regular job actually slowed down a lot with when COVID started. So that actually gave me a bit of reprieve because there wasn't really a lot going on there. But yeah, that was difficult.
So let's talk about that. When did you actually, what was the date you opened the doors of your business?
I started doing actual work in October of 19.
Okay.
So terrible timing.
Right. So 6 months later, COVID hits. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
talk through that. So for somebody that's watching this that is thinking about starting a business,
yeah.
what did that look like for you? What kind of support did you get from the franchisor during that period? Can you walk through that?
Yeah, it was kind of weird at first because I was at a point where so with my franchise, we do kind of two main different types of work, residential work and preventative maintenance work. And the preventative maintenance is going to be at gyms, corporate fitness centers, that kind of stuff. And all of that stopped, you know, by April or whatever. And but because I had only been open for 6 months, I really didn't have that much of the preventative maintenance work yet. Anyways, I had a few, but I was mostly doing residential, and the residential stuff actually picked up really big time. And I had a couple pretty good months when it first started because everybody's buying treadmills. They're fixing treadmills that had previously been broken because their gyms closed.
Mm-hmm.
But once we kind of got through that work, are you still there? Sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty here. Okay. Um, yeah, once we kind of got through that initial um, residential uptick, things got a while because we were still working and everything, but I actually had to hire a second tech initially, and then work slowed down. So I have two techs, and there really wasn't enough to keep them both going. I didn't want to let either of them go because I knew it was going to pick up again. So yeah, there was a few tough months for sure. Gyms were closing, some of them forever, permanent closures, a lot of those, which is unfortunate, of course. Um, Now, California opened up completely June 15th or something like that. And now I'm getting a lot of requests for preventative maintenance. Things are picking up again. So it looks like everything's going to be pretty good here, pretty soon. So I'm optimistic that everything's going to recover as long as we don't close down again. If we close down again, though, could get real tough.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen for sure.
Yeah,
Um, so you still have both of your technicians.
I do. Yeah, yeah. I have two technicians and an administrative assistant.
And we should probably back up. I don't think I said fitness machine technicians, but can you tell us exactly what it is that you do?
Yeah, so we repair and do maintenance on fitness equipment. So treadmills, ellipticals, cable machines, all that kind of stuff. We do some warranty work for some of the big manufacturers as well. So we do, for example, we do preventive maintenance for the local Crunch Fitness, which I believe is nationwide.
Yeah.
And so we go in there once a month and do maintenance on all their equipment. And then, we get a lot of calls from just local people that have a, treadmill that's making a weird noise or something like that. And then, like I said, warranty work for some of the larger manufacturers. So,
Yeah, I've seen there's been a lot of home gyms that have gone in during this time for
yeah.
people that couldn't get to their gym to work out. Anything else you think you'd want to, if I were talking to you and I knew I am talking to you, but if was approaching you about starting a business, you've been through it. I know you're still pretty young in business. Is there anything that you feel like you would want to share with me as somebody prospectively looking at a business?
Um, I think uh, for me, the biggest determining factor of how good or bad a day is going to be is my team that I have, really. I've been lucky to have pretty good technicians, and the better they are, the easier my day is. my administrative assistant is great as well. She deals with the phones and emails, which is, um, and I deal with a lot of the sales stuff as far as the preventative maintenance, which I enjoy doing. And um, that's a huge, that's a huge thing though. So I would say hiring the right people is a big deal. It's just, you have somebody out there making mistakes that cost you money and cost you time, and all of a sudden you're on the phone with upset customers because you made mistakes, and that gets you down real quick.
Yeah, I can see that. What other businesses did you look at, and why did you choose fitness machine technicians?
I looked at one that was like a water damage repair place, and then I looked at um, a pest control as well. That one was interesting to me, but I didn't go with it because in my area in Southern California, I didn't think that there was a lot of there was some competition, and it was specifically mosquitoes,
Mhm.
and that didn't I don't know, it didn't speak to me really as far as um, the customers and business goes. The water damage one I was interested in, but they were honestly they were rushing me a little bit too much, and I was a little unsure. And then I discovered fitness machine technicians. I'm like, fitness has been a big part of my life for the last, really for the last 15 years, but in some way for the last 22 years or so, being in the Marines. And so that really kind of hit home for me. Like, you know, I love I love fitness, and being able to work with that in some way every day, that made sense to me, and that resonated with me, and so I wanted to be a part of that.
And what is your role in the business? You own the business, but what else do you do in the business?
So day to day for me is, some of that paperwork that I just have to do myself, of course. Um, I kind of run some of the warranty stuff. I take care of a lot of that stuff myself. Just the process, some of that stuff is they have their online programs that they use, and I will do a lot of that kind of stuff. And then when I have preventative maintenance prospects, I deal with those as well. Day to day residential, the techs will ask me questions sometimes like, hey, what do you want me to do here? We have a problem, and I'll make a decision on that. But a lot of the parts ordering and quoting and stuff, I let my administrative assistant take care of that because it's pretty time consuming, and I have other things that I have to do, and it's generally not all that difficult. Um, so yeah, a lot of paperwork, some decision making throughout the day, and and sales, of course. That's pretty much my three main tasks.
Do you marry the sales with your industrial sales business with your own business since you're out and about and you're in the field? If you see a place you want to go into or stop and talk to, are you able to kind of do both of those?
Yeah, if the timing works out, yeah, absolutely. I've done that before. I usually don't just go out and pound the pavement looking for places because I don't really think that works that well. But yeah, if I have an appointment for industrial sales and I can work something out so that I can kill two birds with one stone and visit some gyms also, yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess my last question for you is it's kind of hard because you're newer in business and you went through COVID, but you survived. You've still got business, hoping everything stays open. I guess the final question that I have for you is if you had this to do all over again, would you still do it?
Yeah, I would. I think I'd do it a little bit differently, probably. I think I probably wouldn't try to work full time and run the business at the same time. Or, I don't know, hire somebody that can handle a lot more, maybe the stuff that I'm doing still. But yeah, I still would. I think I would just do it slightly different though. But overall, it's been a good learning experience, and I'm still confident here within the next couple months that I'll see some good uptick in business once gyms continue to open up and need maintenance and everything. So yeah,
That's good news. Well, I thank you for allowing me to interview you today.
sure.
And I will make this available to you if you want it, but I'm going to stop the
Okay.
recording now and
Okay.
we'll finish up.
Sounds good. Thanks.